This video and channel is for adult collectors only. Okay, hello and welcome to the stop motion review on Buzzworthy, Cybertronian Jazz. So, I gotta say, this is a pretty decent figure. We're gonna first talk about the pros, and then we're gonna move into the cons, and then my final thoughts, so let's get right into it. I gotta say, he's got a good sculpt, really nice details, decent paint with a few minor errors, which I'll cover later. Better kibble management than I'd say Origins Bumblebee from 2021. And he's got a really nice compact chest, which blows every other Chug Jazz figure out of the water as far as I'm concerned. Not a lot of hollowness, which is dope on a deluxe class figure at that. Just an overall great aesthetic for a new Jazz figure that I've been waiting for a long time, to be honest with you. Head sculpt is nice. Would have wished there was more expression in there for like a smile. And the side profile from the right and the left is pretty cool too, with some nice sculpt and the paintwork on that blue visor and then the silver for the mouth and face. Just another look at how compact his chest design is. Really great. The best chest Jazz design we've gotten on any Chug figure, I'd say. There is some minor paint issues that I'll cover later on the chest. He does have quite a few weaponizer / siege ports on two of his hands and on his upper arm there on both sides. And then at the bottom, or on the top of his feet I should say, and then also at the bottom of his feet so you could get some thruster, jetpack type stuff. Now for the weapons, no paint but some decent sculpt work. The grappling hook is in two pieces that combine, and you got one of his standard rifles with a peg on the side, with also some cool details on each side as well. You flip the hand in, plug the hook in at a 5mm peg, and that looks good. Got some details on the side that look like wires wound up. Then on the other side, you plug the gun in his hand. That looks great. Glad to finally have one of my favorite Transformers characters with some sick weapons, people. Yes! You can also plug the hook part into the gun tip, and you also can plug some blast effects into his arm part to kind of have a Bayverse / Rise of the Beast / Prime Universe type cannon, which is dope. Then of course the gun tip is pew 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 compatible. Just a closer look at the ROTB style cannons and the pew 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 feature. Articulation time! The knee joints, while sturdy, do suffer from a bit of stress marks. It's hard to see on camera, but it's definitely there. Also, there's stress marks on both sides of the clear windshield where you have to literally force it over the hood of the vehicle. I mean, come on, Hasbro. That is so trash. I've heard certain people say how sturdy the plastic feels, but my experience, I don't know. In these areas, it definitely isn't. One of the many things Reveal the Shield Jazz, which by the way I'll do a comparison here soon in the video, still has over modern Jazz figures is it doesn't have this. Like, come on, I'm so over the hollow forearms and no wrist swivel on a character that's supposed to be so agile, while a deluxe from 12 years ago had solid forearms and a ball-jointed wrist, mind you. Again, kinda hard to tell on camera, but there's a line of paint on the chest where you can see the lower half missed the final coat of white paint, while the top half got the full amount. It's barely visible, and it's a minor issue, but still a tad annoying. There's also a tad bit of blue paint missing at the bottom there, which becomes the front of the vehicle mode. Another minor issue. Back of the legs, which becomes the spoiler section of the vehicle mode, there is some blue paint missing right there, as you can see. Another minor paint issue, but still I think I should note this. A bit of a bigger paint issue. The paint that they used for the feet here is a bit like chippy. It chips off easily. Like you can see there's some gray missing and then dark gray there. It just doesn't look good, and if you're a stop motioner and a toy photographer, just be really careful of that because it does seem to be very cheap paint they used there. With how tight the thigh swivel is, you can see that when you twist it, the seam lines start twisting apart, which, judging by the lower half having a stress mark due to stiff knees, I wouldn't be surprised if stress marks start developing on here due to tolerance. Comparison with SS86 Jazz, you could just see how much slimmer and better looking the new one is, especially the chest, and it's crazy that it turned out this way even though they have two completely different vehicle modes. Comparison with Reveal the Shield Jazz, and while I do like this new one better than the Studio Series 86 one, I gotta say I still think RTS Jazz is the best Generations Jazz we've gotten. No stress marks on it after 12 years and multiple times transforming it, better arm articulation such as double jointed elbows and ball jointed wrists, the speaker feature is just crazy, better clear plastic, I could probably go on and on. Oh, and look at that. No circle jerk jack off hands, they actually sculpted the hands naturally, which is awesome. Now for some size comparisons, let's bring in Siege Megatron and Earthrise Optimus, and while this does look good, I do still prefer the scale of Reveal the Shield Jazz being a little bit taller. Here is with Tetrajet Starscream. And lastly, let's bring in Legacy Prowl and Bumblebee for some animated type stuff going on here. Ooh, this looks great. It's just crazy we're getting a Legacy animated Prowl coming out at around the same time as a G1 Cybertronian Jazz. It's just awesome. Transformation time! This Cybertronian mode is just gorgeous. Minimal Greeble tech details compared to Siege, but it is accurate to the G1 cartoon. Sculpt is great, transformation other than forcing the windshield over the hood is good, nice Autobot logo and grill paint apps. Weapon storage isn't bad. You plug the grapple hook on the underside and plug the rifle up top for a weaponized look, which I like. You got some peg holes on the back for some like jetpack thrusters, and you can plug blast effects in there, which is pretty cool. It does droop down a little bit due to the angle of the vehicle, but you can finagle it. Just to give you guys a better perspective in vehicle mode of the blue paint chip marks that I was talking about earlier in robot mode, I'm just going to show you guys a couple pictures. Now for some vehicle mode comparisons, let's bring in Siege Starscream and Origins Bumblebee, and that looks great. All we need is Wheeljack to sort of complete that first G1 episode. And lastly, let's bring in Siege Ratchet just for some randomness. Okay, final thoughts on Buzzworthy Origins Jazz. I gotta say, I do like him way better than Studio Series and Power of the Primes Jazz, but I do not think he dethrones Reveal the Shield Jazz. The clear plastic issues, the paint chipping, and the couple stress marks that I do have are a bit annoying. I gotta give this guy an 8 out of 10 to a 7.5. I do think he's great. The weapons are cool. The vehicle mode is dope, obviously, based off the G1 episode. And the overall robot, the sculpt of the chest, and everything is just overall better than the Studio Series version. So yeah, 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you guys think of this figure? Are you getting it? Do you already have it? And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye! Stay tuned, guys. The next stop motion review for sure this time. I know I said last time, but I got Origins Jazz, and I was like, I gotta do this now. I gotta do it now. Jazz is one of my favorite characters of all time. But for sure this time, it will be on Legacy Prowl. And then after that, it's gonna be some Rise of the Beast stuff leading up to the movie. So stay tuned. It's gonna be awesome. Bye.